getting loaded, on the way away from the pain I get, holding me so tightly till it ever let me rest. Memorize the lines and try to work from the frame, busting out glass, bloody knuckles broke the pain. Came back to fool, and I'm just a fool. Yeah, just a fool. Out on the street, bleeding in the gut, busting out the teeth. Spoke my mind up on the wrong side of the fence. Made another promise that should have never left my lips. I'm wasting way behind the bars of this country cage. Nowhere else to turn and try to quiet down my rage. Thinking about the ones who did just what they always said. Trying to find strengths to become one of them. Waiting for the man and dreaming of the day that I'm throwing down the hammer and marching my way. Yeah, just a fool, getting by. Just a fool, doing I. Just a fool, getting by. Dancing with the devil in the pale moonlight. Yeah, just a fool. Yeah, just a fool. Yeah, just a fool. Na, 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 na. Ooh, just a fool. Yeah, just a fool. Just a fool. Just a fool. Come on up. So these monitors are producing a new feedback that was not present at soundcheck. So maybe they can turn down the monitors just a little bit. Hi.
Hi. Thank you.
Hi.
My name's Ted.
Hi, Ted. My name's Jim.
So this morning you announced a new record, Uniform Clarity, and it turns out it's a companion piece to the Uniform Distortion, where you had lyrics and sounds that were distorted, that were higher and more intense than the usual vibes you get on a record. And now you announced that this record is essentially stripped down, and it's the voice, and it's the guitar, and it's the space. And I'm wondering if there's an intention in that, and sort of how it came about.
Yeah, the goal was to bring complete clarity to the world, to the universe. And the polls are already showing that everything is now fine. So, as George W. so famously said, mission accomplished.
Well, we are here to put a positive spin on the future. But, we talked a little bit earlier today about what do you do in a world like this with so much insanity and truth that is questionable if it's actually truth? What do people do? What's the one thing that people watching or people who hear this can take away and actually think about, especially in this autumn time frame?
Well, yeah, with the clarity thing, I was trying to think about reality a lot, and I wanted to, with the record, what we did was kind of like what they did in the early days of recording, where you had no way to mess with anything. You just, somebody would show up,
from a record label, and they would set up the little recorder. You know, you'd sing into the horn down on Main Street. You'd come with your guitar and sing into the thing, and that was it. There was nothing you could do to warp or manipulate the sound, and that's basically what we did. A little more high-tech version, but we did that same thing for Uniform Clarity. Just to illustrate, I think, all of our hope and desire for the truth. You know, it's like, where did the truth go? It's like somehow the truth is gone now, but we have to remember it's not. You know, it's not gone. You know, we just all have to work really hard to say, no, it is raining outside. It's not. They can say it's not raining outside, but there's rain falling, and it's actually happening. Or that wall is right there. You can tell me that wall's not there. And maybe in some other universe it's not there, but right now, right here, it is. And so I think we all have to fight for the truth, but we have to do it in a kind way. Like, I feel like that somehow kindness has gone out the window. There are these two sides now. I hate it when people say on both sides, because there's like so many millions of sides. But we've been forced into these two pins of liberal and conservative or whatever, you know. And I think the biggest thing we can do is forget about those things and try and forget about politicians, forget about politics, and try and remember each other as human beings. You know, try and remember we do have a lot in common with someone who may be labeled as different than us. There's a lot there. You know, if we can find that, that's how we can move forward.
So it's almost like a conversation and bringing it back to whatever the sides are, whatever the thoughts are, having this conversation across two people, having it, just being able to talk, almost like you were saying earlier about not necessarily predetermining your side, not necessarily turning yourself off to the other side, but allowing this conversation.
I think that's the biggest thing. If somehow we could set up some way to have people meet together, you know, face to face, I think we would see a lot of progress, because it's so easy to preach to the choir, and it's so easy to watch the news network that you agree with or whatever, and to call the other side fools, or you know, there's all this name calling and all this cruelty going on right now. But I think if we could have more person-to-person contact, and maybe that's something that can come from an event like this or from somebody watching on the internet and using technology. Let's start coming up with real ideas, like if you guys, you know, hearing this tonight, if you have an idea, you know, use social media to promote it. How can we get people together, conservatives and liberals together in the same room, so they can sit down and talk and say, hey, you know what? Maybe we can leave agreeing to disagree on some things, but actually we agree on a lot of things, and let's vote for those things instead of voting against our own self-interests.
Amen. Amen. It seems you hit on it a little bit, this social media sort of explosion that's happened in the last however many years. It's so quick and it's so reactionary, and it's become so incredibly polarized that, you know, I think you have intelligent people that don't have a hatred of the other side. We're not even on any side. We're humans, and we're just trying to do the right thing. So I think, you know, you're kind of stepping away from the labels that you have to get. You have to be left, you have to be right, you have to be A or B, and bringing it back to this sort of human conversation, you know. Can technology help? And what, you know, is it as simple as taking it offline and actually having a conversation? Or how do we do it through social media? Not expecting you to have social media answer, but...
No, I think that's true. I mean, I have the toughest time with social media, because I think it's done more harm than good. I mean, sometimes I feel like I am addicted to it like a bad drug, and I think we all are, you know. And I would love to see the people at the Apple Store like looking at my statistics for how many times I've deleted Instagram and reinstalled it. You know, like I'm over, I'm done, and I'll delete it, and then I'll be at the airport and I'll be bored and I'll be like, oh, okay, I'll jump back on and I'll re-upload it. You know, and I've literally deleted it and re-uploaded it like a million times. But the thing about social media that is good is that it can connect us in the real world. I think that's what we need to use it more for. You know, don't look at it all day long, but check it and say, oh, there's this event, you know, happening here. Let's go there. But the thing we need to formulate is more events to get people together from different sides. Because of course it's fun to go hang out with people that you agree with, but that's not getting us anywhere. You know, so how do we use social media to bring us together, or have these, you know, think tanks for both sides to come together peacefully, like in a call it agree to disagree or whatever you want to call it, like something where people can get together. Because that thing, I mean, whenever you see people get together and sit there and talk who think they're so different, it's like the thing with social media. It's like it's so easy to call somebody a mean name online when you don't have to look them in the eye. But when you have to look them in the eye and see how they hurt when you say something mean to them, it changes everything. And that's where I think we could remove a lot of this vile energy.
I want to ask you a little bit, being where you're from and spending so much time in Kentucky, a traditionally Southern conservative state, how did you do it? And this question comes from the audience, from Trevor out there. Being from Kentucky, conservative state, how did you find the truth, and how do you handle when you talk to people that, what do you do when you come across someone that is closed-minded? And surely you've come across your share of Kentuckians. No offense to Kentuckians.
Well, no, yeah, it's not about. I've just always felt like a freak, and I went to a Catholic all-boys high school that had like a real severe dress code and hair code and all these codes. And I don't subscribe to any labels. I don't put any labels on myself because I think labels are damaging. So I don't consider myself anything other than a person. So I feel like I really felt that in high school of how much it hurt to be ostracized by because I didn't fit in anywhere. I didn't fit in with the jocks. I didn't fit in with the scholars. I didn't fit in with the punk rockers. I didn't fit in with the hippies. I didn't fit in anywhere. There was like 4 or 5 of us freaks that would like sit at the table and we're like, what are we doing here? What do we do? So I know how bad it hurts to be made fun of all the time. So I feel like I don't want to be a part of that energy. I want to be a part of united energy, because it's like I was just saying before, it's like I would think self-consciously, oh, the jocks hate me or the punk rockers hate me. But when you actually would talk one-on-one with somebody, you would find out, oh, that jock dude, actually, he's really cool. He likes Bob Marley or he likes the Grateful Dead or whatever. It's like, or you talk to the punk rocker and you'd be like, oh my God, we both love the Clash. Or, you find these things in common. And I think we can do that in real life. So I think growing up in Kentucky in a really conservative place, it just made me want more understanding because so many of my family members, so many people I know there are conservative and they're great people, and they vote for things that, economic reasons or whatever reasons that I might agree with. But then we have other reasons that may be religious or whatever that I don't agree with. But I mean, I think that's a big part of also trying to keep church and state separate, like how can we keep and respect everybody's religious beliefs, respect everybody's right to worship how they choose or how they do not choose, but then make political choices for us all, like healthcare or whatever the topic may be. How can we get people to vote, in ways that will help themselves and their families? How do we separate church and state again? How
do we re-separate church and state? Because I think that was the original intention there of the Constitution. Yeah. And the messages have gotten lost, right? And messages have gotten distorted over time. And it's just great to see a little clarity coming back. I think speaking on behalf of fans of yours for a long time, we've been not just attracted to the music, but also the lyrics. They've been introspective. They've made us think. What's the role of truth in music? Do you write music to get the point across? Do you write music and the lyrics are second? Is there an intention to the music when you sit down to write songs, or was it specifically this batch of songs?
Music is just magic, and I don't understand where it comes from or how it happens, but music is definitely the great uniter. I feel like there is music that is just so holy that it crosses all boundaries and all lines, and you really realize that when somebody passes away, like Aretha Franklin. It's like you see Aretha Franklin, it's like you just crosses every line. It doesn't matter. If you're not affected by Aretha Franklin, chances are you're not human at all.
You don't have a soul.
But what was the original question?
I think, bringing it back to this record, did you think intentionally about the topics and the place we're living in when you wrote this
Well,
record?
it's weird because it all comes in from the pipeline, and I don't really know what it means, but then I'll sit down and words will come, and sometimes, I mean, I've been thinking about politics a lot and about the state of the world, so a lot of what I think about comes out lyrically, and I want to try and help, and I want to try and illustrate something. But we've been talking about this a lot with myself and other musicians, and I really encourage musicians, and everybody, not just musicians, but a common thing musicians will say to me is, well, I don't have any political songs, or I don't feel like I know that much about politics, and I'm like, you don't have to change your art. If your album that came down the pipeline to you is about frogs or love or whatever, make the record that you want to make, but don't stay silent. Speak out about the issues that are important. Speak out on social media and speak out at your concerts and encourage your fans to vote, or all of us. It's like I feel like we need to get away from the fear of politics, because it's like that word I feel like is such a scary word. I'm no expert in politics. We were talking about this earlier. It's not like we're experts in politics, or like I don't think I have any of the answers, but I just feel like it's the classic quote, if you stay silent, you're part of the problem. If you see people suffering, if you see kids being ripped away from their parents, and you don't say anything and you don't do anything, you're part of the problem. It's that simple. And I feel like it doesn't matter if you're a carpenter or a musician or what you do. It's just we all have to speak out.
Yeah, I got this question from a couple of people as we were deciding what to ask about the artist having a responsibility to speak out in some way. And I think, you're obviously right. You don't have to write songs about whatever the issue is, but if you have a pulpit, it's hard in this day and age to stay silent with all the stuff that's going on, because you become complicit, and that's why I think...
Absolutely. I mean, especially larger artists. If you think about larger artists that have just gigantic fan bases, if they really got their fans engaged, they could swing elections almost. It's like it's crazy. So I feel like there's a way to get involved where you do it again with kindness, or just encouraging people just to wake up and vote. If nothing else, to wake up and vote. Just get involved, get educated, and vote.
Exactly. Just keep clapping. Because it's not hard. It's not hard to get educated. You don't have to know every issue. Here in California, we have tons of propositions, and there's how are you going to digest it all? So I believe there's some people here from a voting club. Clap if you're in a voting club.
That's such a great idea.
Jim's endorsing the idea where you get together with your friends and you actually have a social get-together where you can educate each other on the topics or talk about them. Maybe you're not sure if you vote A or B. And the only way to do it is to educate yourself. And so there's things you can do out there, and I appreciate you bringing this message. And it's even greater that you're going to bring the message on the road, and you'll do a little tour, and you'll actually hit some swing states where it could really affect it. What's the thought process behind playing those shows?
Well, yeah, so I'm teaming up with Headcount.org, which is just so amazing. Yeah, we've done a lot of stuff with them over the years, and just the most amazing organization. And I tell people, if you're confused about what's going on in this election or whatever, go to Headcount.org and put in your zip code, and that will take you down the road to find out what you need to find out. But basically, I mean, it's like when I was 18, living in Louisville, Kentucky, I was asleep. I did not care. I didn't think my vote mattered. I don't know, what's it matter if I don't, blah, blah. Everything's fine for me. There's not a bomb falling on the building next to me, or there's not all these things that are happening in the world that are so crazy. I was so fortunate to have a pretty normal life, so I was asleep and I didn't know what was going on in the world, and I am so sad about that, because I feel like I don't want kids to make that same mistake now. When you turn 18 and you can vote, it's like I want people to know how important that is. It's like in the kids from Parkland that are out there educating people, and they're out there on tour, and that what they went through was so terrible, and they're using that experience to bring about such positive change in the world and educate people about just sensible gun reform, and also about this power to vote that a lot of people are going to have for the first time, and hopefully they'll use that power in these midterm elections.
It does seem like there's tragedies that are galvanizing the youth, and you're finding that this, I hope if we can leave on a positive note, we're hoping here that this younger generation has enough reasons after what's going on in this world to get up there and to do something about it. And at the very least, you have to vote. So I appreciate you bringing that message out here, and wondering if you might want to do a couple more tunes.
Sure.
I'll get out of the way.
Turn back the pages in the rays of the sun. Throw back thirsty to the way that it was when we were young. When we were young. Scroll back in time through your account. Watch your face grow younger as real time runs out. Throw back thirsty to the way that it was when we were young. When we were young. All the potential in the world when we were young. All the potential in the world when we were young. When we were young. Stop me if you've heard this one before. You know you caught my eye as I was headed out the door. I swear I know your face from another time, another place when we were young. When we were young. All the potential in the world when we were young. All the potential in the world when we were young. When we were young. Who knows how much time we ever really have together in this life or on our separate paths. We go through so many days, so many lives, so many ways. We fall apart, we come together, so in love, yet to be loved. Still living now. Living now. Now. Whoa. Can you dial back the reverb a little bit? Powers that be. No compromise, but willing to sacrifice. Believe what you want. Go on, be who you are. Go out and get what you want. Full of life. The stone is thrown, it's coming fast. Next thing you know, it's crashing through the glass. Now we're down on our knees, picking up the scraps. Whatever it takes, we're gonna build it back. If you don't speak out, we can't hear it. All of us always here, here in spirit. And all those who came before, here in spirit. Oh, no compromise, but willing to sacrifice. If the means to an end's in sight, and once the work is done, go celebrate what you like. Go on, dance through the night. Go on, be one with the light. Full of life. The stone is thrown, it's coming fast. Next thing you know, it's crashing through the glass. Now we're down on our knees, picking up the scraps. Whatever it takes, we gotta build it back. If you don't speak out, we can't hear it. All of it's always here, here in spirit. And those who came before, here in spirit. Spirit, yeah, spirit, yeah. Don't you know you can call on me, call on me, call on me, yeah, call on me, yeah, call on me. Spirit, yeah. If you don't speak out, we can't hear it. Move around freely, this world is yours to roam. Travel to the country, sing me a city song. Come on to my doorstep, baby, it's been way too long. I got diamonds in the doorway and soft light shining on the wall. I can feel our connection, I can feel you swaying in my arms. Use your heart and not your head. That's all that I said. That's all that I said. It's not in your head. It's not in your head. We're here right now. Solid connection, love light shining strong. Parallel direction, roses coming up where we walk. You were in my head singing, singing the sweetest song. Using your heart and not your head. That's all that I said. That's all that I said. It's not in your head. It's not in your head. We're here right now. Use your heart and not your head. Some words can't be unsaid. Some things can't be undid. The beginning and the end. Use your heart and not your head. Time is not our friend. But we're here right now. We're here right now. Thanks. 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 I'm either behind the times or ahead of the times, or maybe I'm just out of time, out of luck, out of touch. I got a way of feeling, baby, way too much. Out of reason, out of rhyme, I'm out of time. I'm either behind the times or ahead of the times, or maybe I'm just out of time, out of luck, out of touch. I got a way of feeling, woo, baby, way too much. Out of season, out of my mind, I'm out of time, out of time, out of time. Better late than never. Better late than never. Better late than never. Better late than never. I got the 4 strong winds at my back. My mind is fresh and clean. Does everything have to feel so fine? Funeral pyres and old desires, burning witches at the stake. No matter what we do or don't, fresh ash, all that remains. Better late than never. Better late than never. You out there turning off and turning on and crashing through the glass. Have they been crushing skulls or smoking bowls, sifting through the ash? Comings on and goings on and cultures start to clash. Empires fall to the ground. We are delighted by the crash. Tell me now so I know how to fulfill your every wish. Better late than never. Better late than never. Oh, oh, better late than never. Yeah, yeah, better late than never. Oh, oh, better late than never. Yeah. This thing's been happening lately when I drink liquids out of a bottle. As soon as I'm done with the drink, I'll tilt the bottle back and liquid will shoot up in my face. Every time, it's weird. Well, it doesn't matter whether it's a plastic bottle or a glass. And I know it's a new phenomenon because I've been drinking liquid out of bottles forever. And this hasn't been happening. So, I wish I could say that I was going to stop. I wish I had the courage to take a stand against liquid and bottles, but I don't think I can. Can't get to work, can't get to sleep. You got to move your dancing feet. You got to roll all over the world. I've made mistakes, and so have you. Lived in deceit, in light of truth. You got to roll all over the world. You got to roll, you got to roll, you got to roll. You got to roll, you got to roll, you got to roll. The Vatican or ancient Greece, roll down the Nile, the seven seas. You got to roll all over the world. We're not far west, but not quite east. We find ourselves somewhere in between. We need to roll all over the world. We need to roll. 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 Oh, yeah. We need to roll. We really do that song. I always think every time I've traveled the world and go somewhere, you see how different people are, but also how you're exactly the same. I feel like that's something that I wish everybody could do. Not that everybody had to do it, but I just think if everybody took a trip somewhere
much different from where they live, they would learn so much about themselves and the world and see our interconnectedness. But it's crazy. It's like, I mean, we all know how difficult it is to travel, and it feels like they're trying to make it more difficult. You know, even within the United States, they're issuing these new ID cards where you have to have this new ID card to even travel within the United States. I don't really know. I just heard about it the other day, but it sounds kind of terrifying. And I just feel like, you know, there's that thing of, I don't know if you've read Black Elk Speaks. I just read that book, and it is unbelievable. It illustrates the plight of the Native Americans and everything that went on. But in that book, Black Elk describes this moment of standing on a peak in South Dakota and feeling like it was the center of the world for him, but also realizing that like everywhere was the center of the world. Wherever you are is the center of the world. And I feel like when you travel, you really realize that.
Over again, over and over and over again, over and over and over again, on and on and on. We fight the same fights, we drop the same bombs, put up the same walls, over and over again. How many lifetimes, how many bloodlines, until we realize we could all be lovers and friends. We do it over again, over and over and over again, over and over and over again, on and on and on. How can we make the same mistakes and still carry on, living the same we did yesterday? Have we learned nothing at all? We drop the same bombs, put up the same walls, we block the same roads over and over again. How many lifetimes, how many bloodlines, until we realize we could all be lovers and friends. We do it over again, over and over and over again, over and over and over again, on and on and on. Get back now, over again, over and over again, over and over and over again, and on and on and on, on and on and on, yeah, on and on and on. On and on and on, yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. you.